Hello viewers, welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7. I'm going to be driving the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which you can see here. Pretty cool car, and it's a shame that it wasn't readily available from the beginning of this game. We are going to be driving it around the twistiest circuit known to mankind, VIR Grand West. And this video is going to start off as a stock car challenge. So yes, no tuning, no upgrades, and of course you know the rules. Anyone who gets beaten has to smash up their Xbox, and you know there's no two ways about it. You have to do it. I will check. So then, through in fifth, I'm going to try to break away from the rest of the pack as a group here. Although there's only 10 people in the race, you know, and one of those guys hasn't even really gone past the start line yet. So I'm only racing really 8 other people. Let's see how it goes though. So of course if it's a good race, it doesn't really matter how many people there are. So we're running through across the grass, trying to avoid all of the falling advertising boards. As we all know, they are seemingly made out of lead or something very, very hard. Because they've ended many of my races, the way that they do abruptly bring you to a halt. So you've got to avoid them at all costs. So then through into Oak Tree Corner, the car performing not too bad so far, and let's not forget no tunes, no upgrades. So I'm running 750 PI, whereas of course the top of S class is 800, so giving away 50 PI. So a fair chunk of performance I am missing, so I'm going to have to rely entirely on the skill of Super GT to see if I can do anything about getting past this clunky big old Maserati. The Ferrari very wide, the Maserati follows him, both getting into trouble on the exit of the hairpin, but not enough that I can get through. But through this sequence here we are going to overtake 2 people, so the Lotus there and the 4 GT getting into some sort of kerfuffle, and I'm through to third, although the 4 GT immediately going to take back that third place. The 4 GT pretty much the most overpowered car in S class, so there's pretty much zero I can do about beating him, unless of course he makes another big mistake. I am doing okay though to keep up with the Maserati and the Ferrari, who actually just makes a mistake there, coming towards the final chicane. So a nice little 4-way battle for the lead here. Actually doing quite well to even just be in touch with these guys. As we go around the final sequence on the lap, Ferrari gets kind of dispatched by the Maserati. The Ford's going to look to get through back into second. Look at that thing fly, there he goes, pulling alongside the F50, which in itself is a very good car, and he just gets absolutely blitzed by that 4 GT. Into turn number 1, I'm going to pull right back in under braking. Look at that. So you can see either that these guys aren't very good under the brakes, or the brakes on this car are very good. So I've closed that gap right up again as we come into the infield sequence. Well, it's not really infield, the infield comes a little bit later. But the initial twisty sequence here at VIR, very technical little circuit it can be, especially the Grand West version. Onto the back straight, and still running in 4th, looking to try to get perhaps a podium. The Maserati is just beginning to pull away from the Ferrari, and of course the 4 GT in the lead now is going to stretch his legs, probably pull away and win this one, unless there is some sort of meteor strike which hits his car. But I don't think that's been programmed into the game, so I think he's lucky for now. Into Oak Tree Corner, lap 2 of 2. We're running out of time to try to do anything, although we have the twistiest section coming right up, which could prompt a mistake from the Ferrari. Let's see if that happens. So I'm going to lose plenty of speed down the straight. I think when you don't tune your car, that's what you're going to lose out on the most. You're going to lose out in a straight line. Whereas the handling, you kind of do something about it. There's not really much you can do to make your car go faster in a straight line unless you tune it. So you can of course adapt your driving, but of course if your car handles badly, then it isn't easy at all to do that. You could just cut corners like that, so it's always an alternative strategy. Although I think that was actually just about borderline clean. I must have kept 1 pixel of the tyres above the curb. So just pushing the limits on the track limits. Now going through the remaining section of the infield and back towards the exterior of the circuit, if you like. And here we go, just the crossover is about here. There we go, back to the darker tarmac. So I'm looking for a mistake which doesn't seem to be arriving. In fact, I'm just going to make the mistake here myself instead, running slightly wide onto the grass, and I'm going to lose a little bit of momentum. There's only 6 people left in the race. I'm going to finish 4th, which still wasn't too bad a result. Kept in touch with the top few guys, gave them a run for the money, but we're going to finish 4th. Not a bad start for life in the Porsche GT3 RS. And we bring our attention to Sebring Club. Now, pretty much 100% of the time you're going to get punted, and well, there we go, the Ferrari gets punted, and as a result I kind of have a bit of momentum loss. So Paul Walker there in his Mitsubishi Eclipse trying to get in on the act. So he's come back from the dead, fancied a race around Sebring, although it isn't the cleanest one so far. So he'll be dreading the sight of a Porsche Carrera. I'm not sure there is one, but he's gone for a kill on the Viper, just murdered him outright, pushed him way wide and just brutally dispatched him. Coming to the next corner, let's see how he deals with this one. And well, quite frankly, didn't really deal with it at all. Just pulls the e-brake, get some style points I guess, but that's not really counting for too much. This guy just drives into the wall. He's seen enough, he's just given up. A bit later, this Porsche goes wide, I go past, and well, I'm in 4th to the end. Kind of a boring race from there on in. So 2 4ths in a row, and well, I got bored of that, so I decided to put a tune in the car and some paint on it, which of course also makes the car a lot faster. Adds about 50 horsepower. So there are the details of both the tune and the livery, if you would like to try it out. Now we come to the greatest race circuit of all time, Top Gear. I got into the lead fairly quickly, and then this back marker just ran me off for no reason. Then I rammed him back, and then, well, we just backed out because, well, we all know Top Gear is just rubbish. So we're going to move to Indianapolis, so an actual proper race circuit. Let's see if we can do something good around here. Looking at the inside of a Celine and a 4GT, go for the double whammy. It's not quite going to happen. Near to contact with the Celine. We'll just about avoid it. And through turn 1 into turn 2, going to go around the outside. The Celine's not having any of it. He's going to dive back up the inside. And I've just realised, just in time, just about managed to open up the steering to avoid any contact. So I'm going to have to settle for 4th right now. I'm going for, coming through off the oval into the infield section, and I'm going to look up the inside of the Celine. He goes a little bit wide through this corner. And through this area here, just wondering whether or not he is going to try to run me wide or not, but turns out we both kind of gave each other plenty of room and respect, so just about going to come out on top through that section. So up into 3rd place. So let's round out this lap. So let's see if I can start gaining on 1st and 2nd once again. The gap's already fairly big. I've braked way too early for that corner, although we have hit the apex nicely. So then into perhaps the final sector of the lap. Quite an unusual little circuit, this one, this Indianapolis infield. Not really like many other circuits. Into the last little couple of corners on the lap, into a fast sweeping chicane that leads onto the back straight, or sorry, the main straight. Of course, it's crucial to get this little section absolutely right. And there we go, get it pretty much spot on. But that was once again the end of proceedings. Quite an easy win, sorry, an easy podium. But we're going to look for the win around Rio. So this tune by LiQuiD seems to be a handling orientated one, and none other than Rio we arrive at. So Rio, predominantly a handling circuit, and especially this full version which we are doing here. 2 laps around the full version. So through the first couple of corners unopposed, so I can just take the full racing line. I don't really have to worry too much about giving anyone any room. So just go and take the normal racing line, and that will help you just to extend that gap even more. So we've done the first 3 turns successfully without getting rammed or punted from behind, which is always good. Through the tunnel, going for the light at the end of it, and there we go. We can begin accelerating pretty much the instant that we see the light. And through this twisty section now, this is where it gets very difficult, and not only because of the hills and the sharp turns, but of course because these rails that run across the circuit can be very hard on the car suspension geometry. So you do have to factor that into your tune and your driving. So I'm going to try to adapt the way I drive going over these bumps. You do have to be very smooth indeed. And perhaps just lift off that throttle a little bit more than you normally would, just to alleviate any risk of any spins or crashes. Perhaps that's the best way forward overall. You do risk crashing quite a lot if you just go full speed through some of these bumpy sections. So it might be better just to think better of doing that. So through the right-hander, I'm about to go downhill into the very fast sweeping left-hander, which is known for its many victims, including Super GT. I've crashed here many times. On many occasions this corner has claimed me. But I get through cleanly on this occasion, so good to see. Through the very fast chicane, and the Porsche here really gripping very nicely. Probably expect that from a car like this. Mid to rear engined Porsche 911 really ought to handle quite well. And it is. It's handling very nicely indeed. And no real drama to report. So that's lap 1 quite nicely rounded out. And we're going to stay in the lead at the end of it. So lap 2 is pretty much a repeat of that. Not really too much to see. And we're going to win. And that was live footage of celebrations around the world. People celebrating that victorious moment of Super GT. Into the first corner from pole position at Sebring. Let's see how this one goes. Not very well clearly, because this NSX isn't very happy with that. So he's going to pump me wide twice. And this guy's going to come out of nowhere, pump me a bit further on. I'm not sure why he couldn't quite see me. I'm in a bright green car. But, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Or most times. Into turn number 2. And receive a slight punt in the rear end. Not once or twice, but 3 times from that kind Evo. So I've gone from pole to 18th, which is last in this occasion. So clearly not a good start. Pretty much as bad as it can get, really. We're going to try to lessen the damage done here by going past this Viper and past this Formula Mazda, who's just rejoining. So up into 15th position. Can we go about maybe salvaging a top 10? It might be difficult. It's only 3 laps, not too long a race. Maybe around about 6.5 minutes or so. Now this is going to be the clumsiest little clip you're ever going to see in your life. Coming through turn 17 here at Sebring. 2 McLaren side by side, Porsche on the outside, and they're just going so slow. This McLaren just doesn't want to accelerate. And then as a result, that 4 GT just comes flying around the outside of all of us. Makes us all look very stupid. So I was just trying to be really careful behind that McLaren. And it's not a good idea to pull out to go around the outside, and well, he just didn't want to go really. And it just felt really stupid. So this race is probably one to forget, not one that I'll be looking back on fondly or telling my grandchildren about. I might do, I might tell them, you never know. You never know how life might go. There may be a reason one day when I sit down with my grandchildren and tell them all about that stupid race I had at Sebring in the Porsche 911, and they'll probably tell me, shut up, that's a load of rubbish. Because it is. This race was pretty crap. Coming into the chicane, sorry, the hairpin, which I suppose is a chicane with the way it exits, and well, I'm just not going to brake in time. I'm going to take what I call the alternative route around that hairpin. So I'm going to keep my 11th place in a dodgy line, it must be said. And at the end, well, I did salvage a top 10, but let's forget about that race until I have to tell my grandchildren about it in 50 years' time or something. So then, I was about 7 seconds off the pace of the Porsche Carrera in the lead. So we're going to try to remedy something a little bit better here at Watkins Glen. This Ferrari ahead is going to brake maybe about 8 years too early. And well, quite frankly, I'm not sorry for ramming him there. Well, I didn't really ram him, he braked too early, it was his fault completely. So he deserves to be facing backwards. Coming through the S's, we're going to have to undo some of this damage here because we've had a couple of very bad races in a row. We need to get back to that victory dance salute Up the inside of this skyline, he's not really going to give me too much room to go about that pass. And, well, there he goes, he's going to go back past me. So I've gone for a TUS JuularDT tune this time around, so it has a little bit better top end. So up the inside of the skyline, 2x2 through here, and his peripheral vision I think is 0, because that's 2 occasions in the space of 2 corners where he pretty much hasn't seen me on his side. So that guy is going to fly off the track. Skyline running very wide, and these 2 guys ahead are going to have a nice coming together. So that's 2 positions. And we're going to look up the inside into the toe corner of the skyline. Has he seen me coming? This time he has, so perhaps he's opened his eyes now. He does give me a nice little farewell punt on the exit of the corner. Perhaps a little bit of a boost. Really helped me actually. So up into 6th place. So a decent recovery during the second phase of this lap. Up to the back of this 08 Viper. So the 08 Viper has always been a really good car in S-Class, although I would say more orientated towards grip kind of circuits, and I'd say this track you definitely do need a dose of power, especially this alternative version which doesn't run the back chicane. So then through the second to last corner into the final one, right on the back of the Viper. We're going to go in a little bit early, and on the exit just going to graze the wall, come across, and well, I couldn't react in time. I just did not anticipate which way he was going to go, which way he was going to bounce off the wall, so yeah, a bad moment, another one. So we're going to finish the race in 7th. Not great to see, but a faster lap of 1:49. Let's see how that compares to the rest of the grid. Well, we're about a second and a half off of the Lotus in the lead. So we're going to see if we can do any better in the next race. We're going to vote for random, but it's going to give us exactly the same circuit again. So that greatly excites the guy on pole position, but we're going to see if we can really test this car's true ability. So we're going to go through past this excited man into 2nd place, and we're going to try to challenge this Oreo livery Lotus Exige from the front. So he's the guy who won the race last time around. Let's see if we can give him a proper test. So this time is a bit easier because of course I've got away from 3rd into 2nd, so we have some clear air now to try to deal with or try to play with, and a nice big space behind, so we don't really have to worry too much about getting punted. You do typically find the better drivers towards the sharp end of the grid, or you should do at least, so the racing should be a little bit better. This guy give me plenty of room, and he's going to hold it around the outside. That Lotus Exige, I must say, it is really fast in S-Class, very difficult car to keep up with. Mainly because from a Lotus you typically expect handling and braking ability, but this one seems to just have acceleration and top speed, although not the best top speed, but very good acceleration as well. So I mean, great handling and great acceleration is a very mighty combination. It's very hard to overcome that, and it's proving to be the case here. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS not quite able to keep up, although I do close up slightly on the brakes. But it's on the exit of the corners, that's where he just about pulls away, just edging out by 20-30 feet each time. Might not sound like a lot, but it does add up, and he's going to pull out nearly 200 feet, about 150 at this point. So that's the end of lap 1. So I've done my best to keep the pressure up, and I suppose as long as I keep within a certain kind of distance like this, then there might be a chance of doing something. So that's lap 1 done. We're going to move to most of the way around lap number 2, and you can see the Exige ahead running very wide, and this is going to be my opportunity to pounce. But despite going very wide, he's actually still going to get up to speed very quickly. I am now right on his tail. Now this is where I like to measure kind of like your overall performance in the race. So in this occasion here, I think this guy should be winning this race 9 times out of 10. Because his car does look better, and he seems to be a very quick driver. So as long as he doesn't make any stupid mistakes, as long as he performs well, then he should be winning most of these races. But the fact that he made a big mistake there, that's sort of diminished his performance in this race so far, and therefore it gives me a chance. So I shouldn't really be having a chance here. He should be easily winning. But as long as I put in a good performance, and someone who should be doing better puts in a bad performance, then you always have a chance of doing better than you probably should. But I mean, that's a key part of motorsport. You've got to make the most of other people's mistakes or misfortune. He's going to make a very big mistake coming onto the back straight at a crucial moment, because he's going to kill his momentum by drifting right through the S's. So I'm easily going to go through into the lead. So this sort of attacking race is now going to turn into a defensive one. So I've got about 2/3 of a lap to go, and I'm going to have to try to hold him off for the rest of it now, because I do think he's definitely the quicker car. I'm going to go defensive into the left turn number 5, and on the exit he's just going to give me a nudge, not once but twice. So it seems to be a recurring theme, multiple nudges. But looking behind, he didn't actually decide to go past, so I think he knew that that one was on him. So I was just being very patient mid-turn to try to get the car to rotate and then get on the throttle. I was on the throttle at the point of impact, but I think he's realised he's going to back right off, and yes he does at the end of the race. Yes, back right off, so I'm going to win again. So further footage there of global celebrations for that win. We move to Sebring Club once again, so another repeat of a race, but as long as the race is good or in some way noteworthy, I'll bring it to you. Into the first corner, so there's a 100% chance of carnage, and there it goes, it proves itself to be true once again. So starting at the sharp end, we're going to go down to the middle end of the race, so in 8th now, but 5 laps to go, and the cars aren't too far ahead, so we have a bit of work to do here. So we're going to try and test the car's overall ability here. So it's mainly a handling circuit, so we're going to have to test the handling capabilities, as this Lamborghini just gets rudely punted wide. And I'm going to go up into 7th place. So yeah, the leaders are just around this corner, not too far ahead. Perhaps we can get through this little group here, this little cluster of cars that has formed. Ford GT at the front of it going defensive, although he's going to get past, and rudely past. And the Lamborghini is going to come out of nowhere. Give me, well, a very big shunt into the wall. A little bit later on that lap, this guy's going to violently fishtail everywhere into the first corner. And just about coming into the corner. Nope, well, this guy, this Ferrari's just come out of nowhere. To make it 2 out of 2 for punt at turn 1. So that's not really a record I want. 2 out of 2 successful being punted, but that's what I've got. So I have to deal with it. It's down in 13th place. This couldn't really be going too much worse. I suppose I could be in 19th or 18th or 17th or 16th or 15th or 14th, and that would have been worse than 13th. So it could have been a bit worse, yeah. So going through the last sequence here on the lap, I'm going to look to try to recover some of these positions. So I'm getting deja vu here. I've already passed these guys once before. I have to do the job once again. So is it going to become 3 out of 3 for carnage at turn 1? We're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Into the braking zone we go. I'm going to look around the outside, and I'm going to go for that move. He's just going to release the brakes, and perhaps I could have seen that one coming. I'm going to take the alternative route and just back right off. I can't bother to deal with him. Yeah. And we're going to look for the move on Sterling Maverick. But I don't really have to bother, because he just drives himself wide. Perhaps he has a fear of being rammed by Super GT, so he kind of just let me go. That guy, he's just given up completely. He's seen enough. He doesn't want to be part of this life anymore. So he's just bowed out completely. Now this is the end of lap number 4, so just over a lap to go. The Viper there and the Ford GT come together, a very clumsy little collision, and I'm going to go through the middle with the Moses effect up into 7th, and we've tracked down our good friend in the Lamborghini, who gave us a nice punting at the end of lap number 1. So let's see if we can dispatch him in the proper way, the clean way, and try to claim our favourite 6th place. If we can do that, I suppose I'd be happy, and it wouldn't be too bad a recovery from way down the order. I don't think we're going to get anything better than 6th. I think 6th is as good as it will get today in this one. So then through the little sequence here, he's actually just going to back right off. So easily getting off the throttle. Either he's letting me go, or he's giving me a gap so they can punt me once again at this corner. we're about to see, ladies and gentlemen, what is going to happen. So coming into the corner, and nothing. Well, he seems to have been very kind on this occasion. Well, he might be saving up for the final corner, is he? We're about to go round, and he hasn't punted me, so good stuff. I think that was actually just a respectful move. He knew that he did it earlier. He knew that he punted me wide. Saw me coming and let me go. So good stuff to see there. And I wasn't too far off of the best lap time compared to the BSE Mono who won the race. But there we go, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video as always. Do let me know your thoughts, and do subscribe if you're new to the channel and would like to see more. And of course, do smash the like button if you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much for watching as always. Goodbye.